is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back here on VSiN PrimeTime, the elated Scott Seidenberg, joined by Will Hill here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Why am I elated? Because, well, the Yankees took a 4-3 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, so my Yankee live bet is great. But, Will, Jazz Chisholm led off the top of the sixth with a walk. Cash it at plus 700 on the live bet on Jazz Chisholm. Next at bat, walk/hit by pitch. And the handicap comes through. He takes the first pitch to lead off the inning. Now, he did wind up having a foul ball and then a swing and miss, so he was down 1-2, but he works the count full, and a 3-2 pitch, high fastball. Jazz walks to lead off the inning. We cash at plus 700. Thanks for introducing me to this stuff, man.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. You definitely you feel that intensity because it's such a condensed rush. It's not like a 3-hour baseball game where there's ebbs and flows. Your bet wins or loses right away. You can cash some tickets very quickly, some long numbers very quickly, and you can come close to cashing some quick ones very quickly. So they're fun. Look, when you're putting this much stuff up from a sportsbook perspective, this many lines, this many markets, it's hard to make every line just perfect. The more you post, the more likely you are you're going to post something that has value to the bettor. So glad you were able to find a little Easter egg there. Yep. Nice plus 700 for me. You have my Venmo, you have my Cash App. So, I'm not sure what's open late here in the East Coast, but when I go, maybe I'll go get Wendy's after, and I will. I'll send a Cash App request.
Yeah, I should give you a little love there. Send you a little something. Maybe you can get a Starbucks on me for pointing me out to these bets. Have to shop around. Some books don't offer it. I found a book here in town, Caesars, that does have the at bat props. It is limited though to just basically what's coming up the next inning. So I couldn't. Yeah. You can't do it in real time, or it's hard. Obviously, the books ahead can't do it in real time, but you can't do it like too close to the inning starting. So once the Yankees finished the top of the fifth inning, that's when the market opened up for their top of the sixth inning, which is where we got the Jazz bet to go for the plus 700. Speaking of other player prop bets, we still have Jazz to hit a home run, so hopefully he gets another at bat in this game and he does go yard. But I placed a bet on a goal scorer in the New York Rangers game. And, Will, I asked you your opinion. You said you had none, but I said pick a name, and I gave you a couple of names to choose from. The one that you ended on was JT Miller. Now, that, full disclosure, was who I was going to pick. Now, it was basically between three guys. I was happy choosing all of them. They all had pretty similar odds. But one of the names that I gave you to choose from was Chris Kreider, and you said no. And Chris Kreider wound up scoring. So that, I would have, listen, if you would have nailed that one, I would have given you, now I would have sent you something. But Rangers lead 2-0 over the Lightning. Chris Kreider and Vinny Trocheck with goals for the Rangers. So I'm not out of the woods yet with the team total over 3.5. Do need some luck here in the final 13 minutes of the game, and would hope that luck is a JT Miller goal. That would certainly.
Do they not know Sam Rosen's in the building? Show Sam. Let's light the lamp. What are we doing? Show Sammy boy.
I've been watching the broadcast here in the studio, and they are showing They're like showing replays of. They have a camera on him in the booth. So after the goal is scored, they show like a camera of him making the call. So they are celebrating the Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Rangers here in this game.
He has been doing those games forever. I mean, he was doing those when I was a kid.
40 years, man.
Yeah, he wasn't young when I was doing the games. I'm thinking early 90s, that playoff run. And he didn't come off to me as being like overly young then. He still, does he still do NFL? I know he does. He did NFL for Fox for a while. I don't know if he still does that or if he's just retiring from everything.
Yeah, no, this is just it. This is it. And this is his final game, obviously, last game of the regular season. 40 years as the Rangers broadcaster. And I think a lot of teams around the league have done a lot of nice, respectful things in honoring him across the league when he goes to these road games. And you see that happen. I love seeing that in sports where people kind of understand the moment. And kind of like what we saw the other night, where the Minnesota Wild defeat the Anaheim Ducks, and everybody, all players on the opposing team line up to shake Marc-Andre Fleury's hand. and because they know that it's the end of his legendary career. Speaking of Marc-Andre Fleury, the Minnesota Wild will take on the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs beginning here this weekend. And it is a busy weekend here in town, Will, because WrestleMania is here at Allegiant Stadium. And game one for the Knights is Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Like, that's, I think, like, we're going to have WrestleMania and the Golden Knights at the same time. Traffic is going to be pretty interesting here in town. But a bet that I like to make in this series, and we'll do more Stanley Cup preview coming up on tomorrow's show when we're a day out of the series beginning. But I'm going to kind of play into the storyline here. Vegas is going to win this series. I think Vegas is live to win the Cup. But I think Vegas wins in 5. Now, how poetic would it be for Marc-Andre Fleury to have the final appearance, now whether he plays or not, but the final appearance for him as a player, his team is eliminated from the playoffs in Game 5 here in Vegas, where he was the first pick for this franchise. He was an integral part of this community embracing the Golden Knights. He is beloved here in Vegas. And what better send-off to end his career than having the Wild get eliminated at T-Mobile Arena in Game 5. Give me Knights in 5 as we all say goodbye to Marc-Andre Fleury.
I don't have anything to add other than I guess we're past the statute of limitations. Can I tell you a story? Do we have time for story time?
Sure.
My buddy, I had a friend who is involved in grading the NHL awards, and I cashed a nice ticket on Andre Fleury to win the Vezina, and had a little tip that he won. But he's no longer in that position. It's a shame. I don't think anybody's listening, but that was a good NHL award season. It was before I knew you, so you couldn't get in. But yeah, I had a little info on that one, so I always remember fondly Mr. Fleury. But all edges go to die eventually.
Well, I do have a bet that I hope is going to cash. I think it's going to cash. I bet Connor Hellebuck to win the Hart Trophy at plus 400 during the Four Nations break, and he is the favorite to win the Hart Trophy as the NHL most valuable player. So happy for those odds shift, and he'll become the first goaltender in quite some time since I believe Jose Theodore maybe of Montreal was the last goaltender to do it. I think he definitely did win a Hart Trophy. I'll have to go back and look at that. But it's been some time since a goalie won the MVP, and in a year where really it's only like Leon Draisaitl got hurt at the end of the year, so him missing time definitely hurt him. Sure, you can look at Ovechkin just because of the chase, but really his overall numbers weren't overwhelming. There were other players that had more goals than Ovechkin this year. I think Hellebuck does win the Hart Trophy. And speaking of Hellebuck, plus 1,800 right now to win the Conn Smythe as the most valuable player during the Stanley Cup playoffs. If you have a good feeling like I do about the Winnipeg Jets to make a deep postseason run and get to the Stanley Cup final, Connor Hellebuck, the goaltender, plus 1,800 to win the Conn Smythe. Do you like placing, I mean, I know we talked a little bit, Will, about the NBA awards. Do you like placing early bets on the awards markets, like because the awards are not until the end of the finals? Do you like placing them before we even know the teams that are going to be in the finals?
I'll bet on anything. Look, hockey's not my sport, but when there's hockey analysts that I trust, that I listen to, I cashed a ticket on Marchessault a couple years, I think it was 2 years ago, to win the Conn Smythe. I'd never heard of the guy until then. So if I hear something that's convincing and I get a long shot to root for, absolutely. So I'll certainly look at that and probably invest in some point. I think we were talking off the air. I was looking for like an exacta to root for. Could you talk me out of an Avalanche Maple Leafs final? Why can't that happen? I think it's like 34, 35 to 1, something like that. Is that a viable option? And what are your thoughts on Toronto? Is this finally the year where they make a run?
If it's not, I don't know when it's going to be,
Okay.
because I think they are equipped this year. They certainly have the goal scoring. William Nylander leading second in the league in goals. They have the goaltending. Anthony Stolarz has been tremendous for them in net. So I think that if it's not this year, honestly, I don't know when it is, but they are the best team maybe right now in the Eastern Conference, because I know the Capitals have had a tremendous season, but with the injury to Logan Thompson in net, I don't know when he's coming back. I can't pick the Capitals in the East, and I think that Florida and Tampa are going to beat each other up in that first-round series. So I do like Toronto to come out of the East. As far as Colorado is concerned, I mean, I just placed a future on them a couple of days ago because I already had a future invested in on the Dallas Stars, but Dallas I haven't liked the way that they've ended the season. Plus, they are injured as well, and I think the winner of that, whoever wins that series, absolutely live to win the Cup. So yeah, I do think that Colorado is a good bet right now. If you look at the market, you got, let's see, Colorado is tied with Florida as the favorite to win the Cup, and then Toronto's plus 1,100 as they are the. Wow, Toronto is 1, 2, 3, 4. They're the fifth favorite just to win the East.
Wow. Maybe
take a flyer on them to win the East, but I think you're getting a good payout probably for them to be that exacta there on that. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. He's Will Hill.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying they have a great postseason. The NHL. I mean, even as a casual hockey fan, the NFL, the NHL playoffs it's
a completely different game. It's a completely different game, which is like it's unbelievable. Like I love hockey, but like. It gets better in the playoffs. Yeah. It's a different sport. It is the way you watch these games, they are completely different in the postseason, and that's what makes it great. Plus, it's the hardest trophy in all of sports to win. It really is. It's an absolute grind. There's no one that's going to be able to debate me and consider it otherwise. He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg. We will talk to our very own Zach Cohen about the NBA playoffs coming up next right here on VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on VSiN PrimeTime, I'm Scott Seidenberg alongside Will Hill as we track everything going on here across Major League Baseball and the NHL. Will, the Rangers got another goal, so they have 3. I am 1 away from cashing the team total. There's 7 minutes left in regulation, and the 3 names that I gave you to choose from to pick a goal scorer for my goal scorer anytime bet were Mika Zibanejad, JT Miller, and Chris Kreider. We chose JT Miller. So far, Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad have both scored. So let's hope that JT Miller gets the extra net. Boy, imagine that parlay if I just did all 3 of those guys. That would have been crazy. But if it's not JT Miller, then I'm going to be very upset with you, Will Hill. Anyway, 3-0 Rangers, 7 minutes to go in regulation. Yankees up 6-3 as we're tracking that. I believe Jazz is getting up now, so if he hits a home run, we will cash that home run prop. Speaking of cashing props, well, no one better talking the NBA when it comes to the playoffs, the series, player props, whatnot. He is Zach Cohen from our very own here at VSiN, senior editor. You read his stuff, of course, on vsin.com. He joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. And Zach, I know you were glued to the television for the 9-10 matchups last night in the NBA play-in round, and I know that you're going to have extra motivation to be watching these teams tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was a tough night. Probably not going to be much better tomorrow night. I don't think anybody really cares about these games just because I don't think either of these teams have a shot of winning against the 1 seeds in the first round. But I do like the over in that Mavericks-Grizzlies game. I just think if you look at ever since Anthony Davis got to Dallas, they've kind of been an over team, which is a little bit weird considering, Nico Harrison keeps saying defense wins championships. It's not a team that has a lot of offensive firepower right now, but they've gone over in 8 of the 10 games that Davis has played with them, went over in that playing game the other night. I think that this is going to be a high-scoring game with the Grizzlies being a team that is very, very good offensively and absolutely horrible defensively. They've been one of the worst teams in the league in terms of three-point shooting defense over the last couple of months. I think Dallas can take advantage of that.
Zach, I think we are set up here for some really good series potentially, especially in the West. I will give you the floor. Series you're most excited to watch, series you're most excited to bet. Take you whatever direction you like.
I think it's Rockets against the Warriors, and I have Houston plus 165. I also played some Houston minus 1.5 games at plus 340. I just think that this Rockets team is going to be very athletic and long for a Warriors team that obviously has been great defensively since acquiring Jimmy Butler, but I do think that they lack size on the inside, where they're going to be trying to play Draymond Green at the 5 when they can, and just perimeter shooting, where Curry is obviously one of the best shooters of all time, but I don't know where he's going to get consistent help from in terms of scoring. Obviously, the other night against Memphis, we saw Butler knock down some threes. We saw Gary Payton and Quentin Post knock down some threes. I don't think you can rely on that stuff over the course of a 7-game series against one of the best defensive teams in basketball. And I do think that Houston is being a little bit undersold as a half-court offense. They got a lot better as the season went along. And I do think that this is a series where, some of their deficiencies might not look that bad, because Şengün is a player that is going to be very big compared to Draymond Green. He saw him kind of dominate the game when they played 2 weeks ago. And I do think that we're going to see Fred VanVleet knock down some big shots. I know he's a player that can lack in efficiency a little bit, but he has proven throughout his career that he's a big shot maker in the playoffs.
Well, we know that the public certainly behind the movement here, as the Warriors are a very public team with Curry, with Butler. They're a 7 seed against a 2 seed, and yet they're minus 190 to win this series. And I agree with you. The value is on Houston. Do you think that that's going to show itself in a game-by-game basis in this series, where we will find value on the spread because the public coming in betting the Golden State Warriors each game?
I think so. I think that everybody really wants a piece of this Golden State team. I think that the second they acquired Butler, that's just such a big name being added to such an already big brand, that people have just, kind of anointed them, a contender in the Western Conference, but they did struggle to get into the postseason. Obviously, they played very well over the, final stretch of the year, but I thought that game against the Clippers the other day was winnable, especially with them playing at home. I don't think that they played all that well, and I do think that the Rockets have proven that this is a matchup that they really like. So I think that there will be, day-by-day value if you don't want to take the series price, but I do really like it at plus money. Like you said, it's 2 versus 7. We're treating the 2 like a 7, and I do think that Houston has shown all season that they kind of deserve to be where they are.
Lakers, T-Wolves. I think the Lakers are getting a little too much respect in the market. The Wolves are good. The Wolves are obviously big and physical. I could see this being a longer series. How do you see this series playing out?
Yeah, I didn't take this one because I have Minnesota futures to win the Western Conference, but I did write this up for VSiN.com. I said if you can get plus 160 or better, that's a play on Minnesota for me. I really think this is very close to a 50-50 that you're paying a premium on to take the Lakers, and obviously the public bet the Lakers, to oblivion, to the point that they were minus 160 to up to minus 200. I think Minnesota has some really good matchups in this series, especially when you talk about, DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker being able to defend Austin Reeves. I did say in my column that I could see this being a game where maybe Minnesota loses game 1 and finds out the hard way that they shouldn't be playing Mike Conley too much. But I think that once they make the necessary swaps, put some size in at the guard position, they're going to be able to guard the Lakers.
Our very own Zach Cohen from VSiN.com, our senior editor, joins us on the Progressive Guest Line. I'm Scott Seidenberg. He's Will Hill. This is VSiN Primetime. You can follow Zach on Twitter at BettingOnX, and he's got tremendous articles on VSiN.com gearing us up for the NBA postseason. You mentioned the Lakers, and certainly another team that's going to be publicized. The Clippers in L.A. getting a lot of love in the market. We've seen the odds on that series kind of fluctuate, kind of settled in now, even split both ways. Forget about the first round series for a second. Should the Clippers get by the Nuggets, how live are they to go to the NBA Finals? Because there's a lot of people that I respect that say the Clippers are the second best team, when healthy, the second best team in the Western Conference.
I'm one of those people. I don't know if you respect me, but I do have the Clippers 17-1 to win the Western Conference.
I love it.
I do have them to win the NBA Finals at 50-1. I think that this is a team that we've seen since March 1st has been, from an efficiency perspective, efficiency differential at cleaning the glass, right there with the Celtics and the Thunder. And I think that this is a series that is going to be tough. I have a lot of respect for Denver. I think obviously having the best player in the series is big. Obviously we've seen this team, do a lot with this core, but I do think that Jamal Murray's entering the series with some question marks in the health department. And I do think that Aaron Gordon is a player that has kind of lost a step a little bit defensively. So I think that the matchups here are going to be fascinating to watch because I don't think the Nuggets have anybody that can guard Kawhi. And then moving on to series 2, like you just said, I think this is a really even matchup between the Thunder and the Clippers. I know that's a little crazy to say after OKC flirted with 70 wins, but I do think that the Clippers are a little bit more proven, have some more experience, and I really trust Ty Lue in, a close to 50-50 series. He's just such a good X's and O's coach, and obviously Jeff Van Gundy has done a great job with that defense, so he'll be ready to kind of get them prepared to defend the Thunder.
Yeah, it's a good point about Van Gundy. I completely agree. Van Gundy's old team, the Knicks. Do you buy the fact that the Pistons or buy the idea that the Pistons are live here in this series, or do you like the Knicks?
I kind of like the Knicks. I looked at the under 5.5 here. I understand why people want to take the Pistons, but it just kind of feels like a series where Detroit doesn't have enough outside of Cade Cunningham. I know that Malik Beasley just had a really good season as a sixth man, just lit it up from the 3-point range. But I do think the Knicks are going to do a better job defending in the postseason than we saw in the regular season. Just once that becomes kind of the singular focus of a Tom Thibodeau team, I kind of trust them to defend. Obviously, Cade's going to have some big games in this series. It's just such a tough matchup, but I don't really see the Pistons holding up defensively over the course of 7 games against New York. And I maybe would feel a little bit differently about this series if Jaden Ivey was fully healthy. I do think we're going to see him back here at some point, but they do need some help outside of Cade, and I don't trust Tobias Harris to be that help.
As far as the first round series is concerned, if there was a series that you would pick to end in less than the 5.5 games that most of these series are priced at, Zach, which series would it be?
I mean, can I cheat and take the Celtics or the Cavaliers?
No, they're not listed.
Those are going to be.
Yeah, well, Celtics we're talking about a minus 500 here. I guess let's say, well, I guess you could bet it if you want, but out of the rest of the series that aren't the overwhelming favorites here.
Yeah, I do think that there's a chance the Pacers take care of the Bucks pretty easily. I know that that's one where, people are kind of leaning Milwaukee a little bit. I think some people expect that to be a long series, especially if Dame Lillard comes back for game 2 or game 3. But I kind of think that this Pacers team is being slept on a little bit. When you go back to December on, after, you erase a slow start to the season, this has been a top 8 team in terms of both offense and defense. I think Rick Carlisle has done a great job of getting the Pacers to play some great defense. And obviously this is a team that you could trust offensively. So obviously, Antetokounmpo is going to be the best player on the floor here. He will have some massive, massive games. I just think that outside of him, the best players in this series really are mostly on the Pacers side. And I think that Indiana is a team that's very connected, and just, I can't see them falling apart against the Milwaukee team that is kind of relying on some spare parts right now, like, Taurean Prince and Kevin Porter Jr.
He is Zachary Cohen. Check his stuff out at VSiN.com. Zach, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Want to remind you guys, speaking of VSiN.com, we got our exclusive betting splits where you can find out where the money is going. Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, so you know exactly where the money's going. As you know, Circa's got the big bets from the pros, DraftKings a broader market perspective. You can get the exclusive betting splits and see the percentage of bets versus handle on every game by going to VSiN.com/subscribe. This is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back here on VSiN Primetime, I'm Scott Seidenberg, joined by Will Hill here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Well, updates on a couple of our live bets. The Rangers team total does cash. We're talking hockey, that is, over 3.5 as they scored 4 goals here against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So cash that. Our Jazz Chisholm walk bet was honestly the best bet that we've ever made in his 3rd plate appearance. But Will, I was still sweating out him to hit a home run in his 4th plate appearance. And why don't you tell everybody what happened with Jazz Chisholm's 4th plate appearance of the game?
Full count, strike 3 called. Pitch was well below the knees, and then Jazz Chisholm, he does cash a 2-team parlay of getting ejected and then tweeting about it about 30 seconds later with some profanity.
I don't think I've ever seen that. He gets tossed for arguing with the umpire and then heads into the clubhouse, grabs his phone, and tweets out, "Not even bleeping close." I would imagine a fine is coming for Jazz Chisholm. No fines, only cashes for our next guest. Joining us on the Progressive Guest Line from the Major League Baseball podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He is Adam Rosenberg. What's up, Adam? Did you cash the Jazz Chisholm tweeting from the clubhouse after ejected parlay?
I have it parlayed with, I have it parlayed with the Phillies tomorrow, so I'm trying to aggregate it over. I actually just got through one of the greatest cashes ever, Griffin Canning, over 17.5 outs. Line completely moved against me all day. They sent him out there with 86 pitches. They said, you got to do this, go for it. He threw 104 pitches. That man has a family. I can't believe he did it, but he did it for me, so I'm excited.
Yeah, and I just saw that to show you how much the game has changed. The first Mets starter all year to throw 100 pitches, which is just crazy to think about 3 weeks in. But speaking of pitchers, Paul Skeens, the short shot to win NL Cy Young, but you're looking farther down the board, maybe even off the board. Tell everyone what you're thinking about.
All right, so first of all, everyone knows that I got my Chris Sanchez love, and I come on here every day and I do that, and he looked great today. He got some of those vanity metrics we want, 12 Ks. I think that you should find somebody who could give you a number on Max Meyer. So he was, as recently as last week, he was 100-1. He's not on your board, but this isn't the first time that we've had a last place pitcher. A team with last place has a pitcher that wins the Cy Young or could win the Cy Young. Robbie Ray did it. Sandy did it for these Marlins. It's not as if this is an outlier of what he's capable of. He was drafted. He's in top 3 pick 2020. But while he doesn't have the Ks yet, he has a really good whiff stuff every single start. 27% K rate, 6th best xFIP in the NL. He's arguably the best pitcher on the Marlins right now, and they're trusting him to go deeper into games. I don't think they're going to trade him until next year, so he's probably worth a little bit of that fun. And this is a feisty Marlins team, as they usually are, until their soul is sucked out by everyone being traded, including Sandy. But yeah, man, Max Meyer, he's the new Mad Max to me. So 100-1 or longer is what you should see it as. Throw a little bit of that on there for Cy Young.
Yeah, checking FanDuel right now. Max Meyer for the Marlins at 100-1 to win the National League Cy Young Award.
You're welcome.
Speaking of the Miami Marlins, they will take on your Philadelphia Phillies here on Friday. I know you mentioned that you like the Phillies in this one. It's Zach Wheeler against Sandy Alcantara. So as much as you like Max Meyer for the Marlins, you got to love Sandy on the bump as well. A low total in this one of 7.5. But how are you going to attack the Fighting Phils?
The Phillies may not be hitting as well, but they're also not K'ing. That works really well to the fact that Sandy's chase rate is pretty much down this year. This also reads like as the Gen Z kids say, this is a Wheeler shove game. He hasn't had the last 2 starts for him have not been that great, but he's 11-4 with an ERA of 2.73 against these Marlins. They love playing them. I'm going to like his over outs whenever it comes on. They love playing these guys. This is a solid get right spot for Wheeler. It's a solid start to a series after a split series with the Giants. But give me the Phillies on the run line. I think it's now like plus money. I have it parlayed with the Jazz tweeting in the clubhouse. So, you can cash with me on that one.
Adam, we get a day game tomorrow, which I love. The Cubs and the Diamondbacks. Burns has been bad here coming over to Arizona. Is this something that he's going to improve? He's going to correct it? Or is he going in the wrong direction in your mind? And what do you like in this game?
So with Burns, there's a lot of things that are going on with him. This, Will, you were in the room. Corbin Burns is a lot of stuff is just wrong with him right now. His slider break is down 3 degrees. His velo is down 1.5%. His walks have gone from 80th percentile to 19th percentile. I thought he was going to have that standard get right in the 3rd start, and I waited for the 4th start. There's a lot of things not going right with Corbin Burns. He signed late. I'm liking not only the Cubs tomorrow, who are short dogs, but I also think that this is also the time to buy the Cubs at a minus number for the division, because I just don't think any teams are going to be buying or wanting to take things seriously the way they are. So give me the Cubs tomorrow for fun, but also let's make our decisions now on the Cubs in that division, because it's while they may only win 88, 89 games, still 7 games better than anybody else in that division.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else coming out of that National League Central. As we're talking to Adam Rosenberg, MLB Gambling Podcast from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, joining us on the Progressive Guest Line, Scott Seidenberg and Will Hill here on VSiN Primetime. Elsewhere, you're looking at this board here for Friday. Yankees and Rays still in action right now from Tampa, with the Yankees holding a lead. But you like the Rays here, regardless of what happens here tonight, you like the Rays in this matchup with Rasmussen against Rodon. Explain that.
Yeah, so Rodon has made me a ton of money this season, because what he will do is he will come out, he will strike out 7 guys, and then he's in his Levon era. He's given up 4 runs, he's walking 3 guys. He's still going 7 innings. So Carlos Rodon is in his Levon Hernandez era. Like, you know, viewers that understand who that is, kudos. But I'm looking to the Rays tomorrow for this reason. There's just, the team overall is matching, even though like they're not winning right now. They're still like, look, they still have an expected batting average tonight of 316, even though they only have 3 runs. I'm also looking to Yandy Diaz tomorrow to hit a home run. Really good career numbers, almost daddy-like against Rodon. And, you know, he's got a 51% hard hit rate with 9 hard hits in his last 5 games, 667 slugging. He's just absolutely crushing the ball. But give me Tampa Bay tomorrow, the Rays in Steinbrenner Field, which I guess it's not even really a fake home game for them. It's actually truly a road game against these Yankees.
We're about 3 weeks into the season. Anything you feel differently about? Anyone you've changed your mind on? What are your big picture thoughts here 3 weeks in?
I'm starting to get worried about the Braves. And I was, you know, I know it's early, but I thought that they had a really good situation that they could have had a week and a half ago, where they had an off day on a Thursday and an off day on a Monday, and they played the Marlins in between. One game got rained out, but they didn't bring their best stuff. Their offense hasn't really been clicking. I get that Strider coming back is kind of a jolt in the clubhouse. Strider, he'll get there. His slider looked really bad. His velo also wasn't topping it where it should have. But again, very early, but I'm starting to get worried about them, because there's a lot more pieces that are going to happen on the Mets and the Phillies that I think are going to go their direction in that division, that the Braves aren't going to be able to benefit from. They're going to get Acuna back, who Acuna has already said, look, I'm not going to be able to steal a lot. I'm not going to be able to do that. Will, you've been really good at taking Acuna unders the last couple of years and really nailing that. But you know, this team, like, I don't even know if they're really in a situation where they can buy right now. They invested in a lot of their key guys. So the Braves, I'm starting to get slightly worried about. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest one. I think that's kind of topping off in my head.
Adam, one final thing. We got about a minute or so left. I know you're high on the Cubs, and you like the Cubs to win the division. And if we look at the division prices, we're going to see the Cubs at, you're laying like a minus 120 price, minus 130 in some books on the Cubs to win the division. You could bet Craig Counsell to win Manager of the Year in the National League at pretty close to plus 200 odds. Do you think that is a better bet? Because if the Cubs win the division, you would imagine he's going to be amongst the favorites to win the National League Manager of the Year award.
So a couple reasons why I don't like that. One is because that would kill my, well, I mean, it's in the AL, but I got a Ron Washington Manager of the Year in my pocket that's going. I also don't necessarily think that Counsell is going to get credit for that, because here's the thing about this team. They're spending. Yeah. And they've spent, and they're going to trade. They're going to trade to replace Steele. They're like, I could see them going after Heaney. I could see them going after Sandy. And they have pieces to be able to do that. I don't know if you can really give a manager credit for a team improvement when your payroll is still in the top 6 in the league. But look, there's a lot of things to like about this Cubs team. Their bullpen's not very good right now, but even with a mid-Shota, they're still the 6th best ERA among starters in the league. And this lineup 1-9 is one of the best. And you just saw it when it went up against the Dodgers. So it's minus money because it's going to be minus 250 by June. And the thing is that I don't think anyone else is buying in that division that's going to catch them.
I like it. He's Adam Rosenberg. Check out the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Always appreciate the time, Adam. We'll catch up again soon. He's Will Hill. I'm Scott Seidenberg. This is VSiN Primetime, right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Scott Seidenberg and Will Hill back here with you on VSiN PrimeTime, right here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Good segment with Adam talking about some baseball futures bets. Just 2 games in progress still right now. We got the Yankees with a 6-3 lead over the Rays in the 9th inning, and the Angels coming back a little bit. It's a 4-3 game. Rangers lead the Angels in the 6th inning 4-3. And then obviously we got some games coming up tomorrow. 1-day game. It is the traditional Friday 2:20 Eastern time first pitch there at Wrigley between the Diamondbacks and the Cubs. I asked Adam last segment about potentially Craig Counsell to win the National League Manager of the Year. Will, I was looking at the awards market here up on FanDuel to look at these Manager of the Year odds. Counsell's your favorite in the National League at plus 170. Bob Melvin of the Giants is next at plus 300. Oliver Marmol and Terry Francona are plus 700. Now I'm going to count them out because I don't think that the Cardinals or the Reds are making the postseason. And then Mike Schilt of the Padres is plus 700. The Padres got the best record in baseball right now. Maybe a flyer on Mike Schilt to be the National League Manager of the Year. I don't think anybody expected an 11-1 start at home for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, but they've been contenders the past years. It's not like they're out of nowhere. And we were just talking during the break. We decided to carry it over about what wins this award. Usually it's by exceeding expectations. It's the team that comes out of nowhere. In the NFL, it's Brian Daboll who leads the Giants to a random, whatever it was. I think they were, what were they, 10-6-1, 9-6-1, something like that. It's the out of nowhere team, which would eliminate some of the guys we mentioned. And if you don't think Francona and the Reds are going to make a run to the playoffs, it eliminates them. There's a couple guys, you mentioned one of them, and then you kind of passed over one of them. I actually think you can win it another way, and he shouldn't be the favorite. He's not the favorite. If the Dodgers ever won 113, 114 games, how do you not give it to Dave Roberts? So at 14-1, when the Patriots went 16-0, Belichick won this award. There was one year the Ravens went 15-1. Harbaugh won the award. You can win and of course, this football is not baseball. I think you can win this award. I think there is a path to winning this award with dominance. You also mentioned Bob Melvin. That's a team where nobody thought they'd be a playoff team. I think their over-under for wins was, high 70s, just top of my head. I'm not sure, but it wasn't like they had high expectations. If they ever won 90-something games and made a postseason, he would certainly be a viable candidate. So what are your thoughts on those two?
I love Melvin. At plus 300, I do agree with that because you're right. It is about exceeding expectations. We just look at recent winners of this award in the National League. Last year, Pat Murphy with the Brewers, 93 wins last year for them. Skip Schumacher the year before for the Marlins, who won 84 games. Buck Showalter did it with the Mets when they had 101 games. Gabe Kapler with the Giants in 2021. They had a 107-win season. And then in the American League last year, Stephen Vogt for the Guardians, who won 92 games. Brandon Hyde with the Orioles the year before that, 101 wins. Terry Francona in 2022 with the Guardians, a 92-win season. So it has to be, you have to have success, and yes, there has to be that element of defying expectations. If the Giants make the playoffs as the third team or maybe even the second team in the National League West, I do love Bob Melvin at plus 300. Over in the American League, let me read you the odds.
One last thing quickly about that. 1998, the Yankees. You get mad when I bring up painful memories. I'm going to bring up a good memory. The Yankees went. You remember what their record was?
That 98 was 102, 103. What was it?
114 and 48.
Why am I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what year I'm thinking of. Go ahead. Yeah.
114 and 48. The manager of the year was Torrey. So you can win this award with just, hey, you had a historically great season. Let's reward the manager. So I think Roberts, like I said, shouldn't be favored, but I do think it's a little dismissive. If you think this team, now I don't know if the Dodgers have the pitching to get to 112, 113, but I do think there's a path where if this team ever won a record-setting, a record-approaching number of games, 110, anything above 110, where it said, you know what, we're stupid to vote for anybody but Roberts. Let's not punish him because he has a good team. So there is a path to winning this with dominance.
In the American League, A.J. Hinch of the Tigers is the favorite at plus 360. John Schneider of the Blue Jays, plus 420 as the second favorite. Now, Toronto has gotten off to a tremendous start this year as they have 11 wins right now, 11-8 in second place in the East. Next after him is Bruce Bochy of the Rangers. The Rangers were my pick before the season started to win that division. Rangers are in first place at 11-7. After Bochy, we have Alex Cora of the Red Sox at plus 550. You and I have talked about this before, Will. We're high on the Red Sox. We think the Red Sox could be live to win this American League East. I think that's what has to happen for Cora to win this award. I don't think that they can finish second place in the East and be a wild card team and Cora gets the nod. But I do think that if the Red Sox win the division, Alex Cora gets that award.
Cora's got a good shot. He was in the media. Media likes him. He worked for ESPN. He's got a reputation as a good manager. So I agree. Look, their win total closed, 85, 86. So if you get 87, 88 wins and win a wild card, that's not enough of an overachievement to win this award.
No, but if you win 92 and win the division.
Absolutely. Who are some other names? Are there any other names that interest you?
Dan Wilson, plus 700 for the Seattle Mariners. Seattle right now, 10-9 on the year. And then you're looking at Ron Washington of the Angels. I don't think the Angels are...
What's that number, just out of curiosity?
Plus 750.
If the Angels ever make the playoffs, he's the guy. Can they actually sustain it and make the playoffs? You got to compare that. And I'm putting you on the spot here, and I could look in a second. What's the Angels' number to make the playoffs? Because that, to me, that's sort of the same bet. He's not winning this award without them making the playoffs, correct?
No, he's not. No, not even close. To win what'd you say, the Angels to make the playoffs or plus 500?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to give you the bet. I'm giving you the bet that we're making.
Okay.
And I can't believe it missed me to this point. Like, I can't believe I missed it already.
All right.
But this is the bet.
You're building the drama. Just tell me. I'm crawling out of my skin here. Who is it?
Mark Kotze, manager of the No City Name Athletics at plus 1,100.
Right? Don't they have to make the playoffs? Can they make it?
No, I don't think they have to make it. I don't think they have to make it. I think they have to be in contention at the end of the season. We'll have to do it between the break and go back and look at the managers of the year. I feel like a lot of it's results based. Where have any managers of the year not made the playoffs? Let's see. Finished second, third. We got a couple of third place finishers in 2003 and 2004 in the American League. Other than that, everyone's been first or second. In the National League, we had everyone's finished first or second. Joe Madden of the Cubs finished third in the Central in 2015, but they won 97 games. Skip Schumacher of the Marlins, 84 wins in 2023.
They made the playoffs, though.
Yeah, I get it, but it was 84 wins.
I think you have to make the playoffs to win this award.
Could you imagine, though, if they are sitting at the end of the year, let's say they have 70-something wins, okay? And
he's under 500, he's going to get it. I don't buy that one.
But let's say in the final week of the season, or there's 10 games left in the season, and they're 3 out of a wild card spot. And every night you're taking a look at the standings, and you're like, could the A's actually get the second wild card? Now, maybe you're right, because we do have the expanded playoffs now.
Yeah.
And if you, it's kind of hard to be a good team and not make the playoffs because we added an extra wild card team. But what a story that would be for a team that is displaced, for a team that, has to play in a minor league ballpark in Sacramento to be in contention for a wild card at the end of the year. Of course, I think Kotze is going to get a ton of votes for the award.
I don't think you can win unless you make it. And I think that goes for the NFL. I think that goes for Major League Baseball. I bet if you and I went through every manager of the year in baseball, every coach of the year in the NFL, and throw the NBA in there, which the NBA is different, I don't know that we'd find any of them that did not make the playoffs. That'd be an interesting little research project.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm literally going through the list right now, and as I mentioned, the only managers to win manager of the year with their team not being first place or second place in their division. 2003, Tony Pena with the Royals. They finished third in the Central with 83 wins. Buck Showalter, 2004 with the Rangers. They finished third in the West with 89 wins. And then, let's see, third place, I mentioned Joe Madden of the Cubs finishing third, and Skip Schumacher with the Marlins finishing third in the East.
Yeah, and the Cubs team was a playoff team in 2015. They lost the NLCS, and that Marlins team made it. But I don't think the 04 Rangers made it. So I guess it's happened. So it gives credence to your point. I like the angle. I think they would have to punch through and actually punch their ticket to the playoffs. But definitely a fun conversation. It's funny. NFL Coach of the Year, I think about this award a lot. We talk about this award a lot. These baseball managers of the year, this award kind of flies under the radar, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, because it's very limited books that offer the market, so you have to take a look at that. Hey, if you want to bet smarter and not louder, you got to check out the Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com. It's where real bettors go to get ahead, because most of the betting world, it's just noise. But at the Sharp Plays, it's the source that other people are just echoing. Since 2011, it's been locked in with what the real pros are betting, elite groups, sharp money, and the kind that actually moves the market. When the Sharp Plays jump on a side, the line reacts. Don't take anyone's word for it. Check the receipts. Get full betting logs live on the site. So why follow the crowd when you can lead it? Visit sharpplays.com. That's sharpplays.com. I'm Scott Seidenberg. He's Will Hill here on VSiN Primetime.